Well, let's go back a couple of months, February 25th. It was Ash Wednesday, and I certainly know that as you and I take a look at what has happened over the course of these last several months, a little bit more than 100 days, a great deal has happened, certainly around the world around us, but certainly within our own hearts. And when we came together that day on Ash Wednesday to begin the holy season of Lent, we heard this very gospel, a gospel that calls us to be people of prayer, fasting, and good works. And can you and I remember what, in fact, were the resolutions that we made that day? You know, how we wanted most especially to become much more aware of, receptive to, embracing the mercy of God as we were preparing ourselves for the great feast of Easter. And while this past Lent certainly became for all of us something that we could never have imagined on Ash Wednesday, the root reason for the beginning the season of Lent was clearly that we might become aware of our need for the very mercy of God and how that should in fact change our lives. So were you and I faithful to the promises we made on Ash Wednesday, the resolutions that we made? Do we find ourselves today hungering and thirsting even more deeply for the mercy of God? And if not, this is a good time for us to kind of check ourselves again and maybe go back to where we were on Ash Wednesday, recognizing our need for the very mercy of God. And why do we do that? Well, we take a cue from our Old Testament buddies, Elisha and Elijah. As Locke read the passage today, the Old Testament passage, there's that line where these two prophets are connecting with each other, and Elijah is about to be taken away, and Elisha says, "Give me the double portion of what makes you tick. You know, give me the fire in my own heart that I can be a good prophet as you were." And what Elisha was really asking, not so much of Elijah, but really of God, is that he could have his heart. And it seems to me that whenever you and I take a look at where we were or should have been on Ash Wednesday, and where we are or should be today, it's a matter of hungering and thirsting for the mercy of God, that like Elisha, we say to Jesus, "Give me your heart. Help me so that I might in fact become more like you." And after all, wasn't that what we intended to do when we began Ash Wednesday? Let's beg the Lord for the grace that we may be faithful to the promises that we made then. And most especially, let's beg the Lord that if we haven't been faithful to them, may God give us the grace to embrace his mercy today and always. With hope, we lift up our prayers to our